So box A had 48 kg more rice than box B at first. After John used 1/3 of the rice in A and 1/4 of the rice in B, A had 17 kg more rice than B. How much rice was there in A at first? Alright, so for this question, notice that there is a change involved here. For each of the boxes, A, you take out one out of three, and for B, you use 1/4. Alright, and these are proportion changes involving fractions. Now, looking at the before, so we see that the before and the after, all this involves difference. Okay, so they gave us a difference at the beginning. They also gave us a difference at the end. All right, so with these two differences, the best way to solve this question is to draw your models out. All right, so typically when we are given like a difference at the start and a difference at the end, drawing models would be helpful. All right, some of you might think of doing a before change after method. Actually, that works as well. All right, so however, if you do before change after, the only thing is you need to involve units and parts method because your two ratios from the fraction here would not have any common base. Okay, so if you're an expert at your units and parts method, by all means, go ahead. You can use before change after. All right. So for today's lesson, the purpose in this case is typically we will use model since we are given difference at the beginning and difference at the end. Okay, so let's start with that. Now, since you're relying on model method, we would expect you to draw it neatly and draw it big enough. That's important. Otherwise, it will look all very cramped, very messy. Okay, so I start off with 48 kg more than B at first. That's the beginning. So A, all right, have 48 more. B. Now, moving on to use. Okay, so John used 1/3 of the rice in box A. Now, that means the whole of box A, I am supposed to treat this whole thing as 3 units. Okay, because if I use 1/3 from A means the 3 units belongs to the total of A. And out of the 3 units, I use 1 unit. Now, however, will it be easy to cut this whole thing into 3 equal units? I would think not, because of this extra 48 here. Alright? So how should we then remove away 1/3 from such a model? So the way to do this is you are going to take out 1/3 from this part, and also you're going to take out 1/3 from this 48, which overall helps you in taking out 1 out of 3. Now, if you can't visualize this, if you can't visualize why this is true, imagine I say use half 1 out of 2. If I say use half from this entire thing, if I take out half from here and I take out half from 48, I hope you can tell that from, okay, just treat this as like chocolate, big chocolate versus small piece of chocolate. If I take out half from each of your big and small chocolate, overall, I'm still eating away half of the total chocolates that you own. All right, so I hope that helps you understand a little better. So it goes the same for any other fractions. Half, I think, is easy to visualize. So it goes the same for other fractions. If it's like 1/3, 2/3, 1 out of 7, or anything else, it's going to be the same process. Okay, so this part, let's split them into 3 equal parts, like what we just discussed. So out of 3 parts, I am going to use 1 out of 3. So use 1 unit. Now, we're not done yet. We also need to use 1 out of 3 from the 48 here. So I can calculate out what is the value of this 1/3 of 48. So let's do the calculation. Okay, so use, now 1/3 of 48 also means I use 1 out of 3 multiplied by 48, which is 16. So some of you, maybe you say that, can we do 48 divided by 3? Since you don't use 1/3 is 48 divided by 3. Of course, okay, it's the same thing. So 48 divided by 3 is fine also. Now, so we're going to remove away 16 kg. So you just segregate, okay, just roughly 1 out of 3 of 48 looks something like that. And this is the 16 kg that is used away. So remember to shade and write all these things down. Now, we have to calculate out this remaining part here, okay? Because all these are values. If you can calculate out the value, please do so. So the remaining part for this portion, Simply 48 minus 16, right? Which is 32 in this case. Okay, so let's go on to box B. Now for box B, what we do is he used a quarter of the rice in B. So a quarter of rice in B means the whole of B, I am supposed to cut it into 4 parts. Now, and of course, this is easy to cut. There's no extra difference outside the model. Okay, so this one safely, you can just go and cut it into 4 equal parts. Of course, out of 4 parts, shade away 1 portion. Okay, and whatever in the end happens, 17 kg difference. Now, this 17 kg difference is between all the white color portions, no more gray portions. However, looking at my current model, as you can tell, it is not easy to compare the difference between the white portions, right? Because they are all all over the place. Okay, and also because if you notice, the unit sizes between these two are not the same, not equal in size. Okay, so hence moving on to work with 17 kg from down, it will be difficult to do so. Okay, so let's make things easier for us first. So what we should do is to try to make the units here and here consistent. All right, so meaning to say that let me just annotate this. Okay, so from here, the one in blue dotted line, all the way to here, we need to try to make the number of units the same because these two are the same size, right? The total model. Okay, so if you look at the top, there are 3 blocks, 1, 2, 3. Bottom, there are 4 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4. So between 3 and 4, you should make them the same number of units. Which in this case, of course, you think of your LCM. LCM between 3 and 4. Okay, so LCM is lowest common multiple. Between 3 and 4 will be 12 units. All right, so we need to make each of these 12 units. Now, to make it into 12 units, you do not have to further cut them. Of course, you can, but 12 units is really big. To further cut them, it may look really messy. You may make careless mistakes. So let's do a little way to make them into 12 units, which is to just allocate a certain number of units into each block. Okay, so the top each block will be 4U. You see, 4, 4, 4 together, that's 12U. Bottom, each unit will now be treated as 3U, each block. Okay, each block will now be treated as 3U, 3, 3, 3, 3, together there will be 12 units. So this is how you ensure that the number of units between the top and the bottom layer are consistent. Okay, of course, excluding the 48 plus. Now, what we can do next is we are going to redraw the unshaded portion because the unshaded portion are the leftover portion. So when you redraw it, make sure you have space and make sure you bring down the units neatly. Try to make the measurements as accurate as possible, following the above. So look at A first. Okay, let's decide on A first. So box A, whatever is left is your 8 units here, also with the 32. Okay, so you can just bring those things down. 8 units, you see? 8 units, you see the ending line ends here, so do the same. So this is 8U, this is 32. Try to make sure the 32, the size are similar when you break that down. Okay, so you do not need to cut this into 4U, 4U because you know this is your final model to draw already. Later, nothing else to draw it for. Alright, so notice that at this point, I have not touched on the 17 kg. This 17 kg is the last thing to include in your model later. Okay, for now, just do the redrawing. Just redraw whatever unshaded parts. Bring it down. Do the same for B. So B, as you can see, is from here to here. So bring that down. All right, 3, 3, 3, that together be 9U. And that's it. This is your new model between A and B. And finally, now we can see where is the 17 kg difference. So A has 17 kg more than B. 17 kg more. So look at your A versus B. As we can see, A is bigger than B by this extra portion. So this extra portion will be your 17 kg. So this highlighted portion is your portion here. Great. Okay, so you see 17 will be the last thing to label down. Okay, we're done. So finally, we can start to look at how to solve using the units. So I hope you can see that the difference between these two units, 9U and 8U, is the difference of 1 unit. And 1 unit difference will be from here to here. All right, this lengthwise is the value of 1U And are we able to calculate the value of this 1 unit? Definitely, because we have the 32 and 17, okay, to help us work out 1U. So 1 unit will be of 32 minus 17. It's just like a parts and whole model here. 32 acts like a whole, this 2 acts like a parts. You get 1 unit ready? How much rice? Just reread the question. How much rice did A add first? So A adds first. Look back at your starting A number, not here, okay? The top one. A adds first is this whole entire thing. And I need to find out how many units first. 12 units, correct? So I need to work out 12 units first, which is 180. And because I want at first, this whole thing, I need to include back this extra 48 as well. So 180 plus, and that's it. Okay, so 2 to 8 kg is your final answer.